Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel's 1 year anniversary video. This video is basically an introduction into who I am and what I plan on doing for my YouTube channel. Just a way for you to get to know me better and find out what sort of stuff I have in plan for the future, in terms of my actual channel and past that. Don't worry though, I filmed a bunch of footage from various games that will be playing instead of my face cam, so you don't have to just stare at me talking for however long this is. The footage in question is also at least somewhat of a vague indication of some of the kind of games I would like to be playing in the future, but I say we get into it. I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so the first thing you should know about me, mostly for the sake of this video, is that I am incomprehensibly great at rambling endlessly. Once I get going, it's very hard to stop, and I kind of plan on fully embracing that just for the sake of this video, because there's so much I want to say and I don't really want to miss anything. So instead of typing myself a whole script to stick to, I just have key points for everything I could think of that I want to talk about, and I'm just going to go at it. About me. My name is Joshua Middleton. I am, as of recording this, I am 25. I believe in respect, being kind to people, you know, showing respect to everybody, no matter who they are, because I respect and support everyone, personally. I believe that everyone deserves to be themselves, and everyone should be respectful to each other, and that every single person is equal. Everyone is welcome, no matter your race, religion, gender, sexuality, ethnicity, beliefs, disabilities, and so forth. If you want to be here, I welcome you, as long as you treat yourself and everyone else with respect. A few things I really enjoy is gaming, music. I love spending time with the people close to me that I care about, like my friends and my family. I really love food, cooking and eating. Cooking's really fun. I'm sort of getting into that. Drinking is a good pastime, I won't lie. I'm a big animal lover, you know, like dogs, cats, birds, but just any animal in general. Just like, yeah, give me all of them. You know, I spend most of my time gaming, so I'm not the most physically active person, but I do enjoy running. When I was in high school, we used to hang out after school, and we would just walk around, and I would always be like climbing trees or just like running amok like a damn hooligan. I do enjoy consuming media, you know, movies, TV shows, YouTube, stuff like that. I'm a big Marvel guy. I liked Marvel when it was like starting up with the whole Endgame story. I don't mind it now, past that, but always been a big Spider-Man kid. I was sort of phasing out of that for a little bit, and then for some reason, like when the new Spider-Man movies started coming out, yeah, came back in a big way, and just full Spider-Man. It's awesome. You know, I love Disney movies too, like the classics for me when I was little, like Finding Nemo, Cars, Toy Story, Monsters Inc., all amazing movies. I don't mind a good TV show. I've watched quite a few, but just to name a few of varying types, Steven Universe. I watched that for the first time in like early high school, I think, and I've watched it a few times then. It's amazing. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, always good. The Office too. You know, stuff like that. And things like Invincible and The Boys, also really good. You know, some blatant gory violence, you know. Who doesn't love that? And lots of stuff in between. I've been watching YouTube for a very long time as well. I think the first YouTuber I started watching properly is Markiplier. Probably when he started FNAF, I believe. Very recently, actually. He's been making a big comeback in my life. I've just been watching all his old videos, his new ones. His Subnautica playthrough at the moment is just the best thing I have ever... I can't explain it. It's amazing. And, Smitty. I've watched Smitty when I sort of phased out of Markiplier. I never unsubscribed or anything. He was sort of in the back line. And, I was watching Smitty every single video. The second was uploaded for years. And, now he's kind of swapped places with Mark. But, you know, they're both big influences to me and the type of content that I will sort of be putting out, I guess. Now I want to go a little more in depth to sort of all those things that I have mentioned. Video games, for starters. I've been playing video games as long as I can remember. I had a PS1, PS2. I didn't have the PS3. I had an Xbox 360 that my uncle gave me, which actually put me onto the Far Cry series, but I'll probably touch on that later. And then what? I moved on from the Xbox 360 back to the PS4, and now I have a 5. And, you know, it's been amazing. So again, on the games that you are watching currently, they are, to some extent, a rough indication of the kind of stuff I want to make, although there is a very, very large amount of games that I want to play as of right now. I have a massive list of games and series and all sorts of things that I want to do. I want to play new games, I want to play old games that I've already played a bunch. I want to play really old games too, like classics, like what, I don't know, the Crash Bandicoot games, Ratchet and Clank, like old PS2 games and stuff like that. Do a series on that, which I think will be really fun. I probably would have picked some more games, some different ones, and more of a variety for this video, but I only worked with what I have currently. But I think they're pretty good, some solid choices. Off the top of my head, I think some of the earliest games I remember playing were probably, what, Abe's Oddworld, Ratchet and Clank 3 specifically, and Guitar Hero. All amazing games, big influences on what I've come to enjoy. Yeah, just such great games all around. When I was playing Ratchet and Clank 3, was when I was really little, it was when DVD stores were still a big thing, and basically what would happen is every weekend, my dad and I would go to the local video store. He would always get a movie or two to watch over the weekend, and he would rent me Ratchet and Clank 3, Up Your Arsenal. And I loved it. I would get it every single weekend. I would not pick a single other game. And eventually, I got it so much that the guy who ran the DVD store, lovely guy, he just said, you can have it. He obviously knew that I was obsessed with the game. I don't know, he probably bought it, probably spent enough money on it anyway. But yeah, that's how I ended up with that copy of the game. And I was really grateful for that. And I've played so many more Ratchet and Clank games since then. Gladiator, probably second best. Fantastic. Because I've been playing games for so long, I've definitely discovered about myself that I love discovering new video games. I will play one game and I will play it to the extent that I want to usually finish it. I'm into most games that I pick. I will even try to do my best to 100% complete it, get all the trophies and stuff if I'm into it enough. And then will happily move on from that game and find the next fun thing to do. I'm always looking for another new game to play. I just feel like there's just too many games out there to be tied down to the same like 2 or 3 games, you know what I mean? Like I don't mind. I used to play Rocket League a bunch. I don't mind the COD games, more into the zombies myself. You know, that sort of stuff. I know those games are more the sort of people that just play the 2 or 3 games. It's usually them, you know, like Fortnite, Overwatch, all that sort of stuff. But like the story games, the indie games that are out there, like just so much effort and heart gets put into those. And even if it doesn't have the most compelling story, it might be the best gameplay you've ever had. Like it's I've got to try it all. I really like that about myself, that I'm happy, I'm willing, I'm constantly going out of my way to find the next game to play. I feel like that's going to be really helpful for my channel and my content as well. I'm excited to see how that plays out, you know, keeping things fresh and stuff like that. I do plan on playing through like all my favorite games, you know, kind of showing them off to you guys, even though they're probably really old and most of you have played them, but you know, that's fine. Maybe I'll try something new for some of them. I'm sure there might be some mods that can make some things interesting. Whatever, I'm just gonna make it up as I go along, really. I think that'll be fun. To talk about some of my favorite games and developers, to give you guys more of an insight into my opinions and stuff on that matter. I would have to say my favorite series would probably be the Far Cry games. Like I said earlier, I got Far Cry 3 when my uncle gave me his Xbox 360 and a few of the games, and Far Cry 3 was one of them. I hadn't even heard of the series before that, so 3 was my introduction. And I played that, I loved it immediately. One of my friends, I found out, had also been playing the Far Cry games, and that was really cool for us to bond over as well. You know, every time the new one was announced, we would both talk to each other about it. We'd get hyped up. We even started playing through some of them together. But yeah, Far Cry 3 with Vaas and Hoyt, that was so good. The Alice in Wonderland twist to it, where, like, because he's insane. Far Cry 4, I loved the environment for that. You know, with Pagan Min is just such an amazing villain. I love the secret ending at the start. That was always, everyone loves that. That's great. Far Cry 5, it was just even better. They just kept getting better and better. Joseph and the rest of the seeds. Just the way that game feels. It's just amazing. Like the music, the soundtrack for that game, just you hear it and you immediately just get this feeling. The fishing in that game, everything was just so good. And then Far Cry New Dawn after that, which I think in a way could technically be counted as the first sequel to an actual game in terms of story progression. They usually make a game, the next one is completely a different thing. Far Cry New Dawn is easily my favorite of all the Far Cry games. I just love, like, the color scheme. It has the same vibe as 6. I mean, 5, but just better. I love the progression of it, the enemies, the story. It's all, it's amazing. It's such a good game. They released the expedition mechanic for that as well. That was really fun, and how that got harder and more challenging. Yeah. And then Far Cry 6, I'm gonna be honest, I think a lot of people are on the same page with this. Far Cry 6 was not nearly as good, but I did play through it for the second time sort of recently. It's a fine game. I liked it more the second time than I did the first. You know, for a Far Cry game, it's not the best. For a game in general, you know, it's alright. Yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, Far Cry is just so good. One of my favorite developer teams is actually Landfall. You may have heard of them. A small-ish group. I think they've got quite a few people on their team, but they're an indie dev team. They've made all sorts of stuff, like Stick Fight, Nightfall, A Daring Journey, I believe it's called. I mean, obviously Peak. Everyone knows about Peak. They made Peak with Aggro Crab, and Aggro Crab is also newly one of my other favorite devs because of Peak, because they're associated with Landfall. Both of those groups are just amazing. They care so much about their fans and the games they make, and they actually listen to what the fans want. They don't just make things, and they don't just want money. They actually care about games, which is a really good thing. I played Another Crab's Treasure before I even heard about Aggro Crab, and then I discovered that from Peak that they made that, and I thought to myself, wow, that's amazing. Of course, they make fantastic games. So Landfall and Aggro Crab, shout out to those guys, because oh my god, such good games. I feel like I didn't list nearly enough games by Landfall. They've made so many. Tabs, totally accurate battle simulator, and then the battle royale version of that, so goofy, great games. Another developer that I really like is Arcane Studios, because they've made 2 of the best games I have ever played. They're a little bigger than the indie dev teams that I mentioned prior to this, but they make amazing games in my opinion. The first game of theirs I played was Prey, and I just finished playing through it for the however manyth time. It is so good. The story, the twist, the gameplay, everything about it is just fucking brilliant. And then one of their other games, one of their slightly newer games, is one of 2 of my favorite games of all time, which is Deathloop. I actually don't think Deathloop got nearly as much recognition as I believe it should have. I really, to be honest, I don't know what specifically about it drew me in. Actually, I guess I do. It was just everything. Something about the game just really clicked with me, like the soundtrack, the actual songs they wrote and performed for this game. Like, I have multiple in my playlist that I just listen to casually. The art style, the gameplay, the story, the key mechanics, everything about that game is just so fantastic. Like, the world that you get to explore
I knew you would think
and
that.
be a part of. The way you get
The
to
system is telling
learn
me it's fine.
about
It's
all
just
the characters
the
and
diagnostic code is changing
that sort
every
of
time I make
stuff.
a request. I'll let you know
I
if
also
find a workaround.
really like the way that they did they have a slight PvP aspect to it, and I'm not usually big on, I guess, PvP as a whole. I do play like, you know, battle royales and stuff, but for games like this, for games that are primarily story based, a few of them do have PvP aspects, and I'm not usually into that. If it's avoidable, I will. That's just not for me. But this one was really good somehow. It just fits with the story. It just makes sense. It's not like particularly unfair or one-sided. It just really helped build the world even more and allow people to play together. And I think that was really great. So yeah, Arcane Studios, also amazing. But to mention my other favorite game of the two is Dredge, made by Black Salt Games. Dredge. I believe the first time I played it was for the one time I had PlayStation Extra. It was just one of the many games that I wanted to get into and try quickly before it ran out, and I became obsessed with it. I fell in love with that game. The art style, again, so unique, such a pretty game. It's so nice to look at, so pleasing to the eyes. I really love that sort of like horror mystery aspect in games and movies and everything, like where it's not in your face but it's definitely there, like it's sort of haunting you, and it's sort of in the background, and I really love that. And then the ending to that game, both endings, I got the bad ending first, and man, that was so fucking cool. It was amazing. The fishing, obviously, any good gamer loves a good fishing mechanic. The fishing in this game is so fun, and just getting to go out and see the world and stuff like that, and yeah, just such a great game. So peaceful, so like, it's scary. It's got that aspect to it, but it is really calming. Like, you could play that game, just fish during the day, probably to finish the entire story, and not have really experienced that much scary part of the game. And it's just like a nice, fun, calming thing. It's really good. So yeah, Dredge, another great game. Moving on from games though, I really like music. I've been listening to, like is an understatement, I love music. I've been listening to music for as long as I can remember, and I had one of whatever the app was at the time before Spotify became big, just the free app that allowed people to download music, and that was gone. I had like my 200 songs on that. That was like big for me at the time. I think I'm about at 2,000 now, because yeah, I'm always looking for new songs to listen to. Like, I love listening to what I've got, and I can't stop expanding my horizons, because again, like games, there's so many songs out there, there's so many artists, big and small, so many people trying to get somewhere, so many, friends that just started a band and they took off, that sort of stuff. There's great potential out there for music. I'm one of those people that would say they listen to everything. I know whenever someone says that, especially on the internet, multiple people will come out of the woodworks and be like, well, do you listen to this? And then they'll give you a specific song that person may or may not know. But yeah, I listen to everything easily. Like, I have so many genres. Obviously, I have preferences. There's songs that I won't like, but I listen to so many songs. I don't care if it's in another language. I have multiple different languages of songs in my playlist. I have songs from TV shows, from movies, from video games, all that sort of stuff. I have silly songs that are just like complete nonsense, like from TikTok and shit like that. Yeah, I just love music. If it's good to listen to, if it's fun to sing along to, whatever, I've got it. It's so good. In fact, I love music so much that while I've been listening to it for basically my entire life, I am wanting to do a little more myself in terms of making music. At the moment, I have very loosely started with making some mashups. I've been coming up with ideas for mashups for a very long time. I've been writing them down in my phone, and I made a start recently. I've made one already. I'm in the middle of my second one, and I'm going to keep doing that for a long time. I think that's very fun. I'm excited to see how I improve with doing that. I really want to make good things. I'm sort of making them for myself. I had no intention of sharing the first one, at least, but I thought I'm doing it. I don't really care if people see it and do or don't like it. So I'm going to share that as well as I go along, because that's pretty fun. I enjoy it, and hopefully everyone else does as well. Yeah, I don't care. But yeah, once I've got a bit more free time as well, I want to start making my own music as well. Like, probably just start with actual music as opposed to lyrics. I don't want to make full songs, not to start off with, but I really do feel passionately about that. I want to be able to make my own sounds and stuff. I have a drum kit. I've been longing for a drum kit forever now. I drummed in high school, and since then I haven't really had access to one. And last Christmas my family got me an electric drum kit, and it's just the best thing ever. It's so much fun. I want to learn guitar. I want to learn a lot of niche instruments as well. I've got a harmonica actually that I haven't touched yet. I would love to learn the saxophone and just rip out the best saxophone solos people have ever heard, because you'll love a good saxophone. Like, they just are in songs unexpectedly, and it's just the best shit. I also want to try a theremin. I don't even know if people will know what that is. I'm sure some people will. It doesn't even seem like a musical instrument. It's like some weird alien technology. You just like wave your hands around, it makes funky sounds. It's so much fun. Yeah, I just want to have like the most outrageous roster of musical ability. I think that would be so cool. Eventually I wouldn't mind making full songs. I think like there's a few friends that I have that also enjoy music and singing or playing instruments and stuff like that, and we do have very loose plans to get together and at least like just jam casually. I think you can like rent out spaces with instruments. We'll probably do that, but if that went somewhere a little further, then I would love that. I would love that so much. As much as all my goals for music are pretty vague, I do really love the idea of being on a stage performing to a massive audience of people. I don't know if that will ever happen. I won't be distraught if that never happens, but one day it would be really cool if it did. That would be amazing. Yeah, basically all my plans and goals for music get more and more vague the bigger they get, but I'm gonna work at it. You gotta go for that sort of stuff. If you feel passionately and strongly enough about something, then you should try your best to achieve those goals. Alright, onto YouTube, I guess, in terms of me making videos specifically. My first ever thoughts of wanting to be a YouTuber started way back when, like sort of not long after I started watching Markiplier. I was still early high school, I think, maybe even younger than that. But to be perfectly honest, my first official thoughts and plans to be a YouTuber did start with me finding out that YouTubers make money. And not only that, but it can technically be enough to support yourself. You can do it for an actual job. So obviously as a kid, my specific thought was, wow, I get to play video games for a living. Of course I want to do that. But, who can blame me? That may have been how it started, but as it's gone on, the more I've, thought about it before starting, and especially now that I have actually started, those plans have grown exponentially further than I ever could have imagined. Even while being related to YouTube and starting with YouTube, they've outgrown YouTube by far. I have so many things that I want to do afterwards, and yeah, I'm just so excited to see how that goes. I've wanted to do this for so long, and I was so happy when I put my first video out. I didn't care how well it did. It didn't need to get millions of views. I knew it wasn't going to. That's just simply not how it works unless you're really lucky. The internet can be really weird and blow up random videos. But, I didn't have any specific goals or a time limit. And I still don't. I want this to happen so badly, and I'm going to make it happen, basically. I'm going to work at this until it pays off. it's as simple as that. You know, I don't need to reach a certain amount of followers or subscribers, I guess, in a set amount of time. I feel like doing that sets you up for failure too. If you don't make it, then you feel like you've failed, and failure is not an option. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it till it works, and it's going to. That's the thick and the thin of it, because this is what I want to do, so I'm gonna chase that. As for my goals and plans for being a YouTuber and content specifically, I'm mostly just planning on doing Let's Plays. Basically any and every game there is. I want to get to it at some point. Old, new, you know, solo games and online games with my friends, party games, stuff like that. Friend slop, even though I hate that term so fucking much. But yeah, anyway. For now, I want to have a consistency of one video a week. I think that's good enough, you know. A video every couple of days would be pretty good, but I'm not gonna strain myself just yet. I'm a year in as of the release of this video, so you know I'm trying to stop myself from burning out. So one video a week is ideal, and also as of this video, I believe I've achieved that. I have just taken 2 months off from uploading to spend a bunch of time editing 2 long sessions, which I managed to break down into 8 separate videos about 15-ish minutes long. And my plan for that was, if I upload all 8 of those videos 1 week at a time, I then have 2 whole months to get another 8 videos ready from however many recordings is needed for that. And given how long it took me to get these first 8 videos ready, that's super doable, and I'm super pumped about that. If I can keep up this consistency of 1 video a week and not really have any drawbacks, that's a huge win, and I'm excited to be able to do that for myself and for you guys. I don't technically have any goals or really any thought at all as to how long I want to do YouTube for in terms of stopping. Like, you know, if all goes well, I may do this till I die. That seems a little crazy. I don't really know. That's too far in the future for me to see. I want to do this for a very, very long time, and that's about the best I can provide for that. I briefly mentioned this before, but my list of games that I want to play, for some reason, over a few sessions I have at the gym, I went on a craze of just making like just going through all my wish lists and my libraries on PlayStation and Steam, and just writing down every single game that might have been worth at least a video. I categorized them into what kind of games they are, who I could play them with, and all that sort of stuff. I really love like organizing. I've got like my whole life is in my notes on my phone, so that's what I was doing, because I was I run at the gym. I don't do weights. I don't really care about that. So while I'm running, I can do so much more on my phone. I can organize my entire life if I want to in there. And so I did that. I wrote down a massive list. I'll probably show it on screen if I can be bothered, of just every single game that I could possibly want to play. And there are some really good ones in there that I am so excited to get to eventually, however long that may take. I am also constantly on the lookout for new games. Like if I see like a video come out from a YouTuber that I may be watching, or like on Steam, I usually, because I'm so involved in the gaming world, I get lots of like TikToks on my feed here and there on upcoming games and stuff like that too, and I add every single one of them to my wish list immediately. So I will hopefully be able to, you know, get newish games out fairly quickly, especially when I start getting some money from this. And I have a bit of spare income, that I'll be willing to put some more money into myself and my channel and my friends as well, so we can have a few people get in on a game while it's fresh. That'll be great too. I am editing my own videos. You probably don't need to be a genius to tell that. It's fairly mid. I have already in a year come a long way from my first video, and I will get better. I'm always looking at tutorials, and every time I have an idea to do something, I will at least try to make it happen. Even if I have no clue, I'll look it up, I'll watch videos, I'll do my best to make things happen. But I do plan on getting an editor at some point. I barely even know how I would go about that. I do know some people personally that already do some sort of editing. I don't really know the depth of what they do, but one way or another, once I can afford an editor as well, I'll be able to do videos quicker too. There is very high potential for me to have another whole channel with my partner, and that I have no idea when that's going to start. I feel like that's pretty far away as of right now, but there's on that list of games there is a whole section dedicated to couples games and games that are only 2-player that we will play a lot of. You know, she loves Minecraft as well. No doubt we'll do a series on that, or just videos here and there on our world, and all that sort of stuff. I think that'll be really fun once I have the time to manage that. Yeah, we'll be making videos together. That'll be fun for some people to watch. Moving on from YouTube specifically, I do want to start streaming. I've streamed once so far, and that was kind of fun. I think I did have people come in and out, but no one chatted, so I didn't actually know. And then I found out when I ended that I did have a few people. That was an interesting experience. My partner streams at the moment. She's fairly new to that, but she really enjoys it. And I really want to get into it because I really like the idea of being able to interact with my community, with my fans, in a more direct and personal way, rather than just making YouTube videos and seeing how the comments go, and then at best, you know, mentioning some of those comments in the past, you know, in the next video or whatever. Like, streaming would be really, really cool to be able to play different games that would work better on stream, and like more long form things. If I want to play through a medium length game in one go, I'm not gonna film like a 6-hour video to sift through footage like that. That'll be good. And it'll be really fun to just like talk to people, I think, instead of just sitting in front of a computer and a camera and not engaging with anyone. I'm really excited to start that, whenever that may be.
Traveling to Havana. Prepare to attack.
I also wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm doing YouTube, why I'm making music, why I'm, you know, fighting to pursue my dream. And I guess that for some people that might be pretty self-explanatory, but I'll explain a little bit more anyway. I mean, to put it simply, I am pursuing my passions, you know. I'm looking for a bit of fulfillment. I'm looking to make something of myself. I believe that it is important to have passion and to pursue that passion. I want to do this because it's what I want to do. I know that sounds a little bit contradictory, but that it is what it is. I want to make YouTube videos. I want to make content. I happen to be able to play video games to do that, which is fun. But I really want to make videos and music for other people as well as myself. I really like the idea that I have the possibility to make things that I can then share and put out into the world that makes other people happy. To any extent, really. People might see it and, you know, it gives them a brief moment of happiness. It might be a distraction, might be good for a laugh, whatever it is. I just really hope that I can put out anything from videos to music and, you know, other stuff, than just like hopefully make the world just a little bit brighter, spread some positivity. I also do have massive plans that I'll talk about later to do as much good as I possibly can. Alright, moving on to the next topic is what I often refer to as the big three, which is YouTube, music, and games. I've spoken about YouTube, my relationship with it in terms of watching and the future of my channel and making videos. I've spoken about music and my relationship with that and how I want to make more. But games, in this sense, isn't about playing them or even recording them. It's that I really want to make games. I have very solid intentions of being a game developer myself. In the somewhat distant future, but it's going to happen nonetheless. I will go a bit more in depth about developing shortly, but for YouTube and music and streaming and that sort of stuff, that is all of that. Like I just mentioned, is stuff that I want to do for my own sake and for everyone else's. I'm basically just trying to cover as much ground as I can in the creative field because that suits me. To make as much as I possibly can to help people, to spread some positivity, some happiness, and again, just try my best to help make the world a little bit brighter. That's really what I want to do. There's so much negativity and people just fighting and arguing over serious and petty garbage, and that's just not what I'm about. You know, we're not gonna be beefing here. We're not gonna be hating on anyone for anything. We're just gonna be here to have some fun. You know, that's really what it's all about. This one might sound a little bit scary for some people, but I also really like the idea of eventually having a platform for myself to be able to talk about things that may need to be spoken about, important things, to spread awareness, to provide help for people in need, all that sort of stuff. I do want to be able to do serious good in any sense of the word. I want to be able to talk about important things that's happening. I'm not going to be I definitely don't plan on being preachy. I'm not going to spread my ideals. I'm not going to force my opinions onto people because that's just an outrageous thing to do in any capacity. But I do want to, provide the ability to give people some awareness, and stuff like that. One day. That's not how I'm going to start. I need to work up to that point. I need to gain people's trust and all that sort of stuff. But I don't plan on just building my name up and not doing anything with that. I want to use this for good. I turn a bit more on the music as well. Same as basically exactly the same shit I've just said. But like music is such a strong thing. It's such a powerful thing to hear and to feel at times. It can create such strong emotions and moments and can be used to bring people together, and I really want to be a part of that. I want to be able to do that, and that's why I'm sort of making a start towards that. I don't really know again where I'm going to go with that because I may not write songs that are as good as I can't think of a single example. There's plenty. I'm not going to write songs that make the whole world feel some profound thing. All my songs might be nonsense if I ever make them, but just the fact that music as a whole can be such a incredible thing, it's really important to me, and I'm gonna see that through. All right, on to video games. Video games is a big one. Specifically in terms of concrete plans. I have wanted to be a video game developer for a long time as well. I think my first plans were to be a YouTuber, and then I also thought about getting into music, and then after that realized I want to make games as well. And any idea I have on any of those goes immediately on my phone. The video games has gotten to a point where I have 2 dedicated separate notes on my phone that are both so big, full of ideas just to do with developing games, that they're both starting to get laggy when I try and add new things and just look at them. I have so many ideas, and I cannot wait to make a start on them. Like they're some of them are as fleshed out as being fully thought out game ideas with at least some sort of a story and stuff, or based around the world, and I have a lot that are just like mechanics or specific ideas for specific things like weapons or like a specific mission, all that sort of stuff. But my ideas are just endless, and they just keep coming. I am 100% determined to bring each and every one of these ideas to light, because I feel like I need to. As someone who's been playing video games for most of their life, I've gained such a deep appreciation for them and like what they can be. I also understand the perspective of a gamer, and I believe that is something essential for a game developer to have. So yeah, because I have a personal stake in these games that I will be making, in the decisions that I make for the games, in the way they are made, in the way they plan out, and in the effort that is put into making these games, into the heart of the games. So I'm going to do my best, of course, to make sure that they're actually fun. And although I don't think I'll be able to make much that's inherently free, because just in a practical sense, I don't think it's very doable to make something that takes such a long time, to be able to dedicate all that time to making something that is completely free with nothing to gain. For me, that would be ideal. And I do definitely plan on making everything I make as cheap as possible to be affordable for everyone, because I'm not in it for the money. We just need some money from it, you know what I mean? Like, especially when I get like a team of any sort, because I will need a team eventually. I do plan on starting on my own, just mucking around with it, see how it goes. I'll be doing courses, putting the effort in, which I will also need to pay for, that sort of stuff. In an ideal world, we would make massive games, bunches and bunches of them, and they would all be free. Unfortunately, we aren't in an ideal world, but again, it's not about the money. We'll give them out. Yeah, it's because I'm making games because I want to make games, because I want there to be games that are fun, that are cheap, that are accessible, that are made with passion, because games these days have lost that a lot. Big companies are not making games for the sake of making things that are fun. They're making games because it's a big industry. It's where a lot of money can be made, and that's ridiculous. That's wrong. That's not what games are for in any capacity. Games are not about money. Games are about having fun, being played, being experienced. So yeah, money's not the aspect of the games. Money's not the focus. Yeah, it's about making things that are fun, because that's what games are. I'm not going to be making and releasing increasingly terrible games year after year after year while charging more and more money for them, if that sounds familiar to to anybody. I'm not going to be putting microtransactions. I think the best thing we could do is make games free or as cheap as possible. And I really, as a gamer, I really like the idea of, optional things like cosmetics and stuff, like the ability for us to go out of our way if we want to support the creators. That's really nice. Like, some games have that and you don't really get anything. Like, you get their game for free or for cheap, and then you can give them more money if you want to. They don't push that on you. And some games go a little bit further and they give you cosmetics for it, stuff like that. Friends vs. Friends is an immaculate example of that. Their game is cheap. Their game is so much fun and so replayable. They're very openly anti-pay to win, and they have a bunch of different cosmetic DLCs that you had no way are forced to purchase, and you can. I have, because I feel like they deserve it, because they put effort into their game. They care about their game and their fan base, and they just do amazing work, and that's what I strive to do. I also like the idea of some semblance of a battle pass. Now, don't freak out when you hear that word, because they have tainted the gaming industry irreparably. Fortnite ruined games with a battle pass. Every single game has one now. It's so much worse when you see it in a game that isn't directly a battle royale too. They're in, like, not story games, but games that definitely shouldn't have a battle pass. So if it doesn't fit, then I'm just outright not doing that. But games like Helldivers, for example, have their war bonds, and you can buy them at any time. If I did something like a battle pass system, it would be something closer to that, where you don't have to buy it while it's out and then grind the game before it goes away, or you lose the rest of the stuff. You lose that value of the money you spent. If you buy something and there's a system in any said game where you have to work to earn that stuff, then you'll have access to that forever, because that just makes sense. It's just buying a battle pass and then being forced to play the game to earn everything, otherwise you lose your money. That's just a tactic. It's greedy. It's to keep you playing their game. It's to keep you spending your money, and that's just not what I stand for. That's cheaty and cheap. And yeah, we won't be doing that. I believe that games are meant to be affordable and fun. They're meant to be played, enjoyed, experienced, and then people are going to come at me for this. They're meant to be put aside and moved on from. If not forever, at least for a bit. Always come back to a game. I love a game with good replayability. But live service games are just not. They get old. They should get old. They feel like companies are milking their games for more than they need to. Like, another bad thing about that too is what if we kept making games? What if games kept coming out that were all live service? They kept having events and stuff like that, and they just kept coming and coming and coming, and then doing everything in their power to keep their fans until we were spread so thin that that there's only like 10 people on every single game. It's not enough to keep any games running, because there's so many live service games that are constantly running. Play a story game, move on to the next story game, have a session of some sort of battle royale or something with your friends, and then go back to something better. That might be that's just my personal take, but that's I feel pretty strongly about that. Main point overall is that I have big plans for games, and it's gonna be a wild ride. It's gonna be so much fun.
What? Do you want a badge? Let's do this. I'm sorry.
For the last part of this video, I want to talk about my final plans, my biggest plans, the real end game aspect of my overall goals. And all the YouTube, the music, the game developing, all leading up to something bigger. And it's about me doing some actual good in the world. Of course I want to be able to release content in every form, from videos to music to playable games, to make people happy, but I want to do more than that. I want to provide physical help, like monetary help. I want to do my part in as big of a way as I can. Like, I want to be able to donate to charities in just massive amounts, to as many as possible. I want to tackle some real world problems that I hope to be able to do in a big way with the influence that I might gain, with the people that I have willing to help me, with the money that I get for myself. I'll spend my own money. I'll be able to get people to donate, all that sort of stuff. In fact, one of the many notes I have on my phone is just a list of some of the many things that I want to actually be able to do, some specific problems that I really want to do my best to help fix, and all that sort of stuff. Now, because these large scale things are like the furthest on my roadmap, I guess, I don't have anything fully fleshed out. I'm a little nervous technically to be talking about this, because I haven't done enough research. I don't know what's actually possible in terms of like solid plans and all that sort of stuff, but I do know that I want to do these things. These things are important to me. These things are important in general for people to care about. So one way or another, I'm going to try my best to do what's right, While some things may not be doable, we don't know until we try. I've got to try because I'm willing to, I want to. But to list a few, I really want to make some effort towards some more clean energy. Again, I don't have all the available knowledge. I don't know exactly how this would be doable, but one idea that I had would be really cool to try and work with some sort of like solar company and, homeowners. I don't really know how that's doable. It's got to be though, like to try and put solar panels on like an entire neighborhood, like a bunch of houses, that sort of shit, like build new houses and provide them all with solar panels, and I'll just like pay for that to happen. I can get you guys to help pay if you're willing to, that sort of stuff. What's another one? I want to help homeless people. I want to like have homeless shelters, but not just that, but like homeless rehabilitation, I guess I would call it. I'm sure there's already programs for this. Maybe I can at least start by just participating in them rather than doing my own thing. But like, I want to help get these people off the street and then like, fix them up, clean them up, give them food and water, give them somewhere safe to be, and help them go through whatever program is at their dispense. Maybe help them get like a course to learn something, to help them get a job, provide them, maybe if we had some sort of housing establishment, or not establishment is probably the wrong word, some sort of housing thing. I don't know the right word. Again, I don't have the knowledge for this yet. If we could give these people homes is basically what I'm trying to say. Give these people jobs, take them from off the street to living a good life is really the goal of it. Because that's important. People are so unsympathetic towards homeless people, and that's just, I hate that. It's so disgusting to see. It's just wrong. Like, how could you see someone that's just as low as life can kick them and just think to myself, oh man, you just suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's wrong with you. Have some sympathy, you psychopath. These people clearly need help, and no one's giving it to them, and someone's gotta do that. Someone's gotta make an effort, and that's what I want to do. Animals is a big one. I mentioned earlier that I love animals, so I would love to be able to help animal shelters. There's already so much going on for animals, and still it's somehow not enough. I want to be able to take animals that have been abandoned and look after them and rehome them. I want to take animals out of the pound and stop animals from being put down as much as possible, with the ideal goal being none at all being put down. We need every animal to be looked after until they can be housed. And I'm sure there's probably some sort of legal grayness about this. I'm not going to go into people's homes and steal their dogs and cats when they're being mistreated. I will find legal ways to do this. I'm just saying this might be a bit harder to do in terms of legality, but I want to rescue animals that are being mistreated, because people that just do that sort of like, we don't need to talk about that, but you just like scum of the earth. Don't do that. If you mistreat your poor pets, then you just you don't deserve happiness. Seriously, don't get a pet though. Like, they deserve this. Such precious creatures. Like, dogs and cats are kind of demons, but they're still sweet, yeah, so like animal shelters, I want to help. I want to donate to animal shelters. I want to have my own, like, just massive operations, as big as humanly possible, to do as much good as we can. We could also have people, come visit, just like to play with these animals, and that might help people that weren't technically planning on adopting, but maybe they'll fall in love with animals. It'll be like a sneaky tactic, which would be really cool because I probably could. There's probably places I can go right now that just have animals that I can hang out with, but yeah, I don't know. That'd be a nice bonus. There's definitely more on here. I've definitely gone past a few things because I just don't want to talk about them without having the right information. I don't want to. I'm afraid of seeming dumb. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I have my heart's definitely bigger than my brain on this. You know, I wanna. Alright, I'll keep it broad on this one because there's a few different things that I have written down as separate topics, and I'll just sum it up into one without going into too much detail. But I want to help people. I want to help men and women in terms of like mentality and physical safety and treating each other with respect. You know what I mean? Ranging from things like how men have such outrageous mindsets in the sense of them, you know, how they treat women, you know, with the what's it called, like the male loneliness epidemic or something like that, which unfortunately is fully justified. You know, toxic masculinity is such a big problem and that sort of stuff. And I don't know how I would go about this, but I want to fix that if possible. You know, I want to help change their mindset so they can be a better person. They might not intend to be a bad person, that's just what they think, what they know. That's fine. I want to help people in unsafe environments in their own home, in domestic situations, like an outreach program and stuff like that. Men and women, you know, it happens to everybody. That's important. We need to look after each other's safety and that sort of stuff. I want this one's no, it's not silly. That's wrong. I want to help women feel safer in public. I really don't know why this is so important to me specifically. That sounds bad, but like I feel so strongly about this. I guess it's just because it's wrong, you know. Like I want to help. I can't stand the idea of being a woman and feeling unsafe in situations where I really don't need to. That's ridiculous. It's wrong. It's fucked up. And I have zero ideas, no possible logic on how that's doable. Just create a general sense of safety in the world as a whole. Like that's a big ask, but again, it's something that is important, something that needs to be done. So any kind of effort needs to be made, and eventually I will figure out something. Healthcare as well, actually, is for everybody. Like, I want people to have the access to medicine that they need. I don't think I would have the capabilities to make my own products, but I could probably just like pay companies, shops, whatever, help people get the help they need, pay for surgeries, stuff like that. Like maybe some sort of means for people to reach out and ask for help that we can just give to them, that sort of stuff. Like I want people to have access to things that they need when they can't otherwise get it themselves. Food as well. Food and water is a big thing. Some people are struggling so much to make ends meet, to feed themselves, to feed their family, to feed their kids, and that's just unfair. Everything is way too expensive, and if we can, you know, have some sort of system where people can give some of their own money to pay for someone else's meal if they're able to, you know, if we can pay for a family's shopping trip, a big like $200 gift card, you know, anything doable. I want to, yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to talk this much on this sort of stuff because again, it's just these plans are so far away from me, and I really don't know how I'm going to go about it. But I am making an effort to talk about it because this is what I want to do. This is where my plans are leading up to. I want to, overall, do want to have some sort of organization, I guess, that branches off into all of these different things. We'll have different groups and that sort of stuff, and there'll be like a central website, maybe a headquarters, and you can see what we provide help for, and we'll just do as much good as humanly possible. And I think that's a really, really cool thing that I'm gonna make happen. I'm really excited to be able to do some proper good in this world. And yeah, we're gonna see where it goes. It all starts right here. But yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to talk about. I've got big plans. Yeah, we're starting with YouTube. I've been doing this for a year. Once I get monetized, I'm gonna quit my job, which I'm barely working at anyway. And then I'm gonna start making some music. I'm gonna start taking lessons in various things. I'm gonna do courses in game design. I'm gonna get a team. I'm gonna get editors. I'm gonna get everything to make those work better. And then I'm gonna move on to the big stuff. I'm gonna make some actual shit happen. And we're gonna tear shit up. It's gonna be really good. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I hope you look forward to future videos for now. And then more to come after that. You know? It's gonna be great. And I really look forward to seeing how this grows for me and for everybody else. Yeah, I'm kind of just rambling now. I'm just gonna stop it here. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Requesting air support. Enemy in an eagle. Lock high spotted.